And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We just wrapped up with our first best of three. We just wrapped up with Max Packs versus Classic, and it was a pretty short series, to be honest. The games themselves were, game one was quite intense. Game two, was an unfortunate start for Classic. But now we're getting into our TvT between Cure and Bunny. Bunny? Wait, what? Okay, clearly it's Cure. Look, I always say ByuN, and I always mess up the name whenever I cast and play against each other. I understand WTL, I understand, but it is ByuN, not Buddy. The top left we have for Team Liquid, Cure. And in the bottom right hand corner, not all Terrans are the same. It is ByuN, not Bunny, for Shopify Rebellion. God damn it, guys. I'm shaking my head, I wonder if they noticed. I wonder if they noticed that they got the time. We'll see. We'll see after the game. We'll see in between games if they do get on that. Meanwhile, we're getting into our TvT. As I mentioned before, these are two terrifying Terran players in their own right. We've seen them both take down Clem in recent days and recent weeks as well. That's how terrifying their TvT is. But how will they compare with each other? I kind of want to favor Cure here, kind of. ByuN, he's a very aggressive player. He's very aggressive, and he relies a lot on drop play and a bio-heavy style in TvT. But that was the case last season. That was the case last patch. In the new meta of Cyclone, ByuN, he's not quite able to get into the mid game as freely as he otherwise used to. Now, when it comes to the new meta, Cure and Clem have both been playing a lot together, and they've both been adapting and improving, and you can see that in their play styles. And Cure is one to embrace the new Cyclone. ByuN a little bit less so. We'll see if we end up in the Cyclone Wars. It's kind of similar to what we saw earlier in the PvP, where the player with an additional Phoenix can just win and snowball out of control. It can be similar here as well, but the engagements are a little bit more dynamic, and you can outposition your opponents, and there's a little bit more back and forth. I want to say there's more comeback potential as well. Here we go. Buddy. ByuN. ByuN, exactly. That's the correct way to spell it. It's the ice guy. ByuN is sitting on Bunny's shoulders right now. Oh, they're playing Archon. They're working together to become one. Let's go. As we're getting into double gas openers. Okay, so double gas openers from both players, which means faster factories, means delayed CCs from both Cure and ByuN. I almost called him Bunny. God, it's begun. It's the Bunny is on the brain. To be fair, when aren't you thinking of Bunny? You know, he's Bunny, ByuN. That's I was meant to say Banjwa. There we go, Banjwa. It's beautiful. As interesting, we are going to be committing into reactored Rax production. We're not going for the add-on swap. We are going for additional Reapers and Hellions. Now, how hard will we commit? Not uncommon to go up to 5 Reapers and 3 Hellions. A bit of a more older school composition and older school start. A way to kind of be hyper aggressive and dive on your opponent. And it seems like that's the direction we're headed in. We're making our 2nd and 3rd Reaper as we speak. There we go. 3 Reapers. We're going for an add-on swap. Meanwhile, ByuN is committing. Okay, so Cure, he goes up to 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. Meanwhile, ByuN, he's committed to additional production. So ByuN ideally wants to try to catch this army. He has the high ground. Cure does take some shots to the face and will be losing a Reaper. Reaper goes down. Hellion takes a lot of damage as well, and ByuN can keep pushing. He's going straight for the mineral line, straight for the CC. Well, the CC does finish up in time. Meanwhile, reinforcements are on the way. Cure also commits, and we get into the mineral lines. SCVs are going to be going down for both players. ByuN loses 2. Going to lose a 3rd as well. Cure gaining some ground here. Meanwhile, ByuN, he gets into the main base. Boys are being pulled. Workers are going down for both players, and chaos ensues. We do have Cyclone production, though. That's the advantage that Cure has, and Cure, he gets into the mineral line, gets into the main. This should not have happened. But he does bust into the main base, and more workers are going down. Too many workers are going down. 10 SCVs. ByuN loses 10 workers across the map. Cure, he cleans everything up because what do we have? The Cyclone, Papi. The Cyclones, they clean up the Reapers, they clean up the Hellions, and now we can go for a counterattack. We're going for a drop into the main base. Cure already has momentum, and he's looking for more. He's up 3 workers. He has his natural up and running. Raven production underway. ByuN instead getting into earlier tank production. Now, tanks, They can scale better into the mid game, that is true. But what do we have to support the tank? And mobility-wise, can we keep up with the drop play? Tank's quite immobile. Marines still between the bases. No stim. Bear that in mind, and we get into the mineral line. Cyclones, they do bust in. SCV's going to be going down. We get 2, we get 3, we get 4. 4 SCVs go down, and we can just pick up and get out of there. There's no way to shut down the medevacs. There's barely any anti-air. Yes, we have Marines, but again, without stim, how do we keep up? Oh, the drop play. Kior just having his way with ByuN's army, and we have reinforcing Cyclones pushing towards the left-hand side. Behind this, Kior committing to Raven production and more Cyclones. This is again the modern style of TvT. Clem does this, Kior does this, they embrace it. So does Maru. And yeah, we do catch another Hellion. So much value here out of this one drop. There is a tank on the high ground. Good tank positioning. ByuN does defend his natural. Good positioning overall. And this is what I will say, is that ByuN's tank count is slowly going to get higher and higher over the course of this game. He will take a tank lead. And in the mid game, a higher tank count will fare better against additional Cyclones. The problem here is the Raven. So we've seen this scenario play out before. Cure is building up a very high Cyclone count, and he has, I want to say, 3 Ravens. And with those Ravens, he has Disable. He can disable his tanks and break in. He has potential for a dive and a major attack at the natural base. Meanwhile, Banshee coming in, we do get a couple of SCVs, good counter damage, bearing in mind that ByuN is still behind 11 SCVs. ByuN, he needs to kill workers. 2 workers is a good start, but as we come back in, oh yeah, we have Cyclones in position. So Cure, he maintains his worker lead. The tanks are slowly pushing forward. The Vikings, they catch more Cyclones. Up! When one Cyclone goes down, bit of miscontrol there, or a bit of misattention out of Cure. Losing an extra Cyclone and the medevac. Good pickups here by ByuN, and ByuN is pushing. But here comes the main army of Cure. And again, he has Ravens. Vikings, they do send them away. Good shots come in. Very nice hits there on the Ravens. As ByuN, oh, I don't think we should keep pushing though. Like, yes, we have 4 tanks, but I feel like we have a disable for every tank. We have to be careful. As Kira backs off, he's going to be repairing everything he has. Topping up those Ravens. Liberators have arrived. ByuN forcing his way in. Here we go. ByuN very committed. Essentially all in with this push. Stim is done, by the way. Stim has completed just in time. Marines pushing forward, but we have the disables. Yeah, mass disables from behind, and every tank goes down, or every tank gets disabled, and we clean up the army. Cyclones are pushing forward, auto turrets get thrown down, and ByuN will lose everything. And with that, ByuN, he has an economic deficit. He lost his army, and we are triggering a big counterattack. ByuN, do we have enough to defend back at home? We have 1 tank. We have a lib. we have a handful of units. And a dream. We can pull the boys, of course, to try to survive. ByuN has a 2-worker lead, to be fair. Can try to macro out of this. 3rd CC's on the way. But ByuN, he's just so far behind in the supply. In the army supply. As long as Cure has a disable available, he can break this position. Meanwhile, ByuN moving out with a counterattack, going for some Liberator harass. Scan does reveal the tanks. Now we go for the disable. Interference Matrix on that tank on the high ground. We have 1 tank left on low ground as well. Boys are being pulled. Good retargeting with that tank. Very nicely done, but that's 21 SCVs going. Oh my god. 21 workers go down. We do deal some counter damage across the map. We get 7 SCVs. Very nicely done. But Kira does take a worker lead. Now, this is the beginning of the comeback. Kind of. We're getting some worker damage done. ByuN does hold. He's treading water. He's surviving. He has an army. Meanwhile, Cure coming back home, dealing with all these Liberators. He has Vikings to deal with them as well. And there is a lot of pressure on ByuN. So you may think he is crazy. He's crazy for moving out with his army, but he needs to. Like, well, he can't just stay at home. He has to do something with this. Gain whatever value he can get. He gets 1 Marine. Tanks on siege, boys are being pulled. GG gets called. The writing is on the wall, and Cure takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Cure able to take that first game there, and again, this is the power of kind of the Cyclone Raven. Even if you go for earlier tanks, with the abundance of Ravens that Cure had, with the positioning as well, he just shut down that army, cleaned it up, and gained a massive lead. The Terrans are in the chat. Oh god, it's Frost, Asher, and Colossal. Oh no, Buddy would have won. You're all animals. We fixed the UI. We fixed the overlay. It's ByuN. Now ByuN. Let's go. The Cyclones, Papi. Exactly. I mean, you have to embrace it. You know, you cannot deny what you are. And what you are is not Terran. Not anymore. No, you're a Cyclone, Papi. You're a Cyclone. You have to embrace it. Yeah, they're laughing. They're having a good laugh, Papi. Curious, like, lol. Did you know you could make Cyclones? ByuN's like, oh yeah, I forgot. And here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have, for Team Liquid, Cure. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have, for Shopify, ByuN. No ByuNy, that's for sure. True, true. Not quite ByuNy. Aye. As we are settling into this, and again, a solid game out of Cure. Unfortunately, ByuN was forced all in. Did lose far too many workers in the early game, and had to commit with this push. And as it typically is, you know, high risk, high reward. You go for the all in, get shut down. It is difficult to recover from that position. Just a really strong start from Cure. As we are skirting around the edge of the map with this SCV, hello, Papi. We are going for a 2-Rax Reaper at a Cure. But not the standard 2-Rax. It's 1-Rax back at home, 1 across the map. It's aggressive, don't get me wrong, but not as committed as it otherwise would be if we did go for a proxy 2-Rax. Meanwhile, thankfully, ByuN is going for a double gas opener. It is going to be double gas out of ByuN, so he's going for a faster factory. Once he gets his factory up and running, if he gets his factory up and running, then he should be able to hold on, survive, and hopefully minimize his losses. We'll see, though. We shall see, as Cure is going to be the aggressor in game number 2. Will be the aggressor. See that wall of text reminded me that I can't read. Take care, Papi. Take care. Here we go as the Reapers are amassing. ByuN back at home. Ooh, did he go reactor first? He did. Okay. I was like, wait, what? Okay, we have a reactor first here out of ByuN. We do have the factory in production as we speak here. Now, because it's reactor first, this means that exposed and vulnerable. Looks like the factory will barely finish in time. I was really concerned that we were going to be getting there before the factory finished. That would have been disastrous. As Cure, he does wait 1 moment longer here, and it looks like God damn it, ByuN, not Bunny, will come out with his Reapers. Just in time. Was vulnerable for a moment there, but does come out and will force this back. Does get a kill on the Reaper. And ByuN will force Cure back. Ooh, even shutting down that second Reaper as well. Let's go. So far, ByuN, he does hold, does defend, does clean this up, and will be getting into his natural base. Meanwhile, Cure is going for a factory behind this. No CC, by the way. It's quite delayed. We should be getting it on the high ground, I imagine. But yeah, quite an aggressive build here from Cure. Oh, he's doing it! Cyclones, they're on the way. They're on the way, Papi, for both players. Here we go. ByuN going for a big counter attack, and will we have enough to defend? The Cyclone will come out in time. Will come out in time for Cure. ByuN does have a bit of momentum on his side. Does have that Reaper lead. But we have the high ground. Lock-on does connect here with the Hellion. Yeah, we're going to be forced back. Cure dipping into the main, hoping for more damage. As ByuN does have the lead on his CC on that low ground. Cyclone will be forcing this back though as we do go for the atom swap. And ByuN does race back home. We delay the CC just barely. Oh my god. Just barely it is delayed. ByuN going to be supply blocked here without that CC, but only for a couple of seconds as it does finish up. And we can get into our build here. Reactored Cyclones, Liberators on the way. Very similar setup here from Cure as well. Ooh, never mind. That is a Tech Lab. Okay, Tech Lab on the factory. It looks like Cure is opting to go for tanks to defend back at home. And he's rushing into Stim. Interesting. Almost a role reversal from game number 1, actually. Where ByuN is going to be amassing Cyclones and Liberators. Meanwhile, Cure is building up a tank count to be more defensive back at home. At least initially, until Stim kicks in. So Natural now on the way. Cure looking to secure himself. ByuN moving out. Is moving out, just waiting for his reinforcements, waiting for those Liberators. And how much do we have to deal with said Lib? Okay, we have a handful of Cyclones, a handful of Marines. And ByuN does have the supply lead. And we are pushing in. Decent tank volume does go up. But a good spread here out of ByuN. The boys, they have to be pulled. Reinforcements, they come out just in time. Yeah, just in time. Cure will force this back. As he does hold those 2 Cyclones just in the nick of time for Cure. As he will hold on to this position, and we have a second tank on the way. Cure going to be counterattacking with his Liberator. Going to be hitting that natural. ByuN still amassing his army, getting his 3rd CC on location. Very fast 3rd here out of ByuN. Very greedy. So he's looking to contain. With this 3rd base, we shouldn't be looking to dive into the natural. We should be looking to just contain our opponents. As I say that, though, ooh, does dive in for a second. Ooh, and do we have anything back at home? Viking arrives just in time. Workers are going down. We get 4 SCVs. And the Liberator of ByuN is going to be shut down. ByuN racing back home with his Cyclones. Very out of position as more workers going down. So much lost mining time in the main base. I can say the same for the Natural of Cure, but again, he has Vikings. ByuN doesn't. Cyclones, they push forward Marines as well. And eventually ByuN will go back to mining, but this is so much less mining time. Stuck on 1 base for so long. So insanely long. At least he gets a faster 3rd, right? Like, at least the 3rd base is about to finish up and we can get into triple SCV production, triple mules. ByuN should be able to maintain his economic lead. Not as large as it otherwise would have been, but we'll still have it. As Cure is going to be pushing. Is going to be moving out. ByuN likewise meeting the army. Gets a Marine. Oof, a Marine for a Cyclone though. Stim is done. We shut down another Cyclone. All 3 of them go down. The era of the Cyclone has come and gone. Now it's about the Marine tank. The Bio tank is pushing. And this 3rd base for ByuN is so exposed. The question becomes, do we go for the 3rd or do we go for the natural? Either or could work. As Curie rotates over, gets eyes on the CC. Is aware, is pushing in. ByuN still getting into his own production here. This base, it may just go down. Despite the 3rd base, how fast it was, it's going to be shut down here. A little bit too greedy from ByuN. GG gets called. There's nothing left behind this. There is no army. And Cure will take a quick 2-0 here, shutting ByuN down. Cure advances onto the playoffs. ByuN is eliminated from Masters Coliseum. GG. A dominant showing there from Cure. ByuN trying to spice things up in the early game there, but wasn't quite able to pull it off. And yeah, unfortunately, just wasn't really prepared for that push. Was taking his own risk, again, being a little bit greedy, investing into that 3rd CC, but he wasn't able to get away with it. His Liberator harass was also a little bit lackluster, and his own economy was stifled so much by his opponent. And with that, GG. Cure will advance on, and now we have 1 series left here for the night. We have 1 non-mirror matchup. After the break, it is going to be a best of 3 between Solar and Clem. See you soon.